Faith won't work in a toxic atmosphere. Introduction. There's something nobody talks about, but you've probably felt it. That suffocating pressure of trying to believe, trying to pray, trying to visualize a better future, while you're still surrounded by negativity, noise, and people who drain your spirit. It's like trying to grow a seed in poison soil. You water it with hope. You shine light through your affirmations, but it never takes root. Why? Because faith doesn't bloom in toxic ground, and most people are too afraid to admit it. You've been told to just have faith, like that's enough. But what they don't tell you is this: faith can't survive in environments designed to break you. Your spirit can't rise in a space where you're constantly dismissed, doubted, or emotionally drained. Toxic atmospheres, whether people, habits, or thoughts, aren't just uncomfortable. They're corrosive. And until you clean that air, your prayers hit a ceiling. Your affirmations fade. Your progress stalls, and you wonder if something's wrong with you. It's not you, it's the atmosphere. The invisible weight around you is real. And in this video, we're going to expose it, clear it, and build a mental space where your faith can finally thrive. A space where your energy isn't hijacked, your mind isn't scattered, and your vision isn't diluted by the noise around you. Because the truth is harsh but freeing. No matter how strong your belief is, if the environment stays toxic, your spirit can't breathe. And here you'll finally learn how to change that. We'll walk through step by step how to remove the poison and rebuild a mindset and a life that allows your faith to grow again. Topic 1. Mental control and emotional. You know what separates a mentally strong person from the rest? It's not that they never feel overwhelmed, it's that they know exactly how to respond when the storm hits. Mental control is about pressing pause before you explode, breathe before you react, and observe before you judge. Napoleon Hill made it clear: true power is choosing your reaction, not letting circumstances pick it for you. Stress resilience isn't about pretending life's easy, it's about standing firm even when nothing around you is. When someone cuts you off in traffic or throws a rude comment your way, that's your cue. Not to fight, but to practice emotional mastery by staying composed when it matters most. Let's get one thing straight. Emotions aren't your enemy, but impulsive reactions can be. Every day, life throws curveballs designed to throw you off. But imagine if you could pause long enough to recognize what's fact, and what's just your ego reacting. That's a skill. One you can build. Try this. Next time you feel heat rising in your chest, pause and ask, is this worth my peace? You'd be surprised how often the answer is no. Mental control gives you the space to choose peace over pride, clarity over chaos. One powerful tool to rewire your mindset is reframing. Instead of seeing setbacks as disasters, start calling them data. That failed meeting? It wasn't the end, it was feedback. That rejection? It was redirection. This shift in interpretation is more than just positive thinking. It's the foundation of emotional intelligence and stress resilience. The more you practice detachment from outcomes, the freer and more powerful you become. Because let's be honest, when emotions rule, logic hides. But when you take control, logic leads and peace follows. Here's a trick that high performers use all the time. Visualization mentally before the storm hits. Picture yourself in moments of chaos, remaining calm, poised, unshaken. This isn't just imagination, it's brain training. Neuroscience shows that visualizing composure wires your brain to handle pressure better in real life. So create a visualization ritual every morning. Just 2 minutes. See yourself navigating tough conversations, delays, or criticism with grace. The more you do it, the more natural your emotional mastery becomes. You might be thinking, this all sounds good, but what happens when I'm under real pressure? That's where it gets interesting. Because mastering this mindset isn't theory, it's battle-tested. And in every battle, there's a strategy to win. You don't just react blindly, you train like a warrior prepares for war. And that brings us right into the next idea. Your mind is a battlefield, and if you don't take control, something or someone else will. Topic 2. Your mind is battlefield, but is an enemy soldier trying to invade your peace. And if you're not wearing mental armor, they get in. That's why Napoleon Hill insisted on building your defenses, not with aggression but with emotional strategy. Not every fight is worth your energy, and imagine your mind as a battlefield. not just a metaphor but a literal war zone. Every distraction, every criticism, every doute, every opinion deserves your response. You're not here to react to every trigger. You're here to master which battles even deserve your presence. Let's break it down. Most people go through life wide open. No filter, no guard, no awareness. They let every rude comment, every delay, every minor inconvenience hijack their peace. But the mentally strong? They know the difference between urgent and important. Someone sends you a passive-aggressive text? You don't flinch. Why? Because you've trained yourself to protect your emotional bandwidth. You only step into battles that move your mission forward. Everything else? Background noise. There's real power in building what I call your internal fortress. This is where mindset rewiring comes in. You design mental walls not to keep people out, but to keep your purpose intact. That means you don't take every opinion personally. You don't let fear or anger dictate your tone. You stop handing out emotional access like candy. Think of world-class leaders. Do they argue with every critic online? No. They choose their wars wisely and win with focus, not friction. And here's where a visualization ritual becomes your secret weapon. Visualize yourself walking through daily chaos untouched, like a general surveying a battlefield from a higher ground. That image isn't just motivational fluff. It's strategy. And to make this easier, I'm including a free visualization manual as a bonus. Inside, you'll find guided prompts, simple scripts, and daily visualization exercises to hardwire calmness into your nervous system. It's not about escaping the war. It's about rising above it with intention. Because once you learn that most emergencies aren't emergencies at all, you unlock a whole new level of peace. You stop reacting and you start responding. You become immune to petty attacks, silent when others expect fury, clear when others are confused. That silence? That control? It speaks louder than any outburst ever could. And the techniques to get there? They're not just ancient wisdom. They're practical steps we'll dive into next, when we explore how to build resilience through daily discipline. Topic 3: Practical techniques to build resilience. Let's get practical, because mindset without method is just motivation with an expiration date. One of the most underrated tools for stress resilience is the pause and question technique. It sounds simple, but it's a game changer. When something triggers you, like someone cutting you off or sending a passive jab, pause. Literally stop for 2 seconds. Then ask yourself, will this still matter in 5 years? If the answer is no, drop it. That micro moment is where power is reclaimed. Now let's talk about visualization mentally, because it's not just a feel-good habit, it's a training ground. Picture this. Before heading into a tough meeting, you close your eyes and visualize staying calm, listening with presence, and speaking with clarity. You've already succeeded before it even begins. Top athletes do this. So do Navy SEALs. Why? Because your brain can't tell the difference between real experience and vividly imagined experience. The more you rehearse grace under pressure, the more natural it becomes. Then there's the power of silent strength. People think the loudest voice wins the room, but real influence often belongs to the one who pauses, observes, and lets others fill the silence. Try this in a conversation. Hold a pause after someone speaks. Don't rush to respond. That moment of silence shifts the dynamic. It subtly says, I'm not in a hurry. I'm in control. It's one of the most disarming techniques for gaining respect, without saying a word. But emotional mastery isn't just about what you do, it's also about what you ignore. That's where the feedback filter comes in. Before you take any criticism personally, ask, is this coming from someone who has what I want or knows what they're talking about? If not, why absorb it? Be ruthless about who gets to shape your reality. Constructive feedback is gold. But destructive noise from unqualified voices? That's a distraction in disguise. Finally, let's reframe stress itself. Don't see pressure as something to escape. See it as a test of your training. Like lifting weights at the gym, emotional pressure is what builds internal muscle. Next time you feel your blood boiling or anxiety spiking, whisper this is training. And when you use all these tools, pause, visualize, remain silent, filter noise, reframe pressure, you don't just survive the day. You dominate it. And that leads us deeper into the science behind all this power. Topic 4: Psychology behind it. Behind every powerful mindset is a solid psychological foundation, and what Hill taught aligns perfectly with today's neuroscience. One of the key concepts here is cognitive reappraisal. This simply means changing how you interpret a situation to regulate your emotional reaction. For example, instead of thinking, "This person is attacking me," you shift to, "They're probably projecting their own stress." That one reframe pulls you out of panic mode and puts you back in control. You're no longer the victim, you're the observer, and that's where power begins. Now let's bring in mindfulness, not the fluffy Instagram version but the real psychological tool. It's not about eliminating emotions or emptying your mind. It's about observing your thoughts and choosing how to respond instead of reacting on autopilot. Picture this: someone says something rude and your brain screams, "Snap back." Mindfulness creates a pause between that urge and your action. That pause is where maturity lives. It's how you switch from chaos to clarity in seconds. There's also something called self-efficacy, which is just a fancy term for believing you're capable of handling whatever life throws at you. Every time you pause instead of panic, visualize instead of react, detach instead of engage, you reinforce your identity as someone who's in charge. And that belief changes everything. You don't just act differently, you start to think, "I'm the kind of person who doesn't fold under pressure." That thought alone rewires your behavior at a deep, lasting level. These practices aren't random feel-good habits, they're literally changing the structure of your brain. Neuroscience shows that consistent use of techniques like visualization mentally and reframing stress actually reshape neural pathways. This is what mindset rewiring truly means. You're not stuck with how you've always reacted. Your brain is moldable like clay. And every time you choose calm over chaos, you sculpt a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. Here's the best part: the more you apply these tools, the more they become who you are, not just what you do. You don't have to think about being calm, you just are. It becomes automatic. And now that you understand the psychology behind emotional mastery, it's time to see how these tools actually play out in the real world. Because theory is nice, but transformation happens when knowledge meets action. Real-world application examples. Let's be real, mindset principles are great, but if they don't work in your daily life, what's the point? So how do you apply all this during a heated work meeting where everyone's talking over each other? Simple: when emotions rise, you don't match the noise. You anchor yourself with a breath, slow your speech, and respond with intention, not reaction. That kind of mental control turns heads. You become the calm in the chaos. And when others get emotional, you stay strategic, and that's how leadership is quietly earned. Take another scenario. Someone criticizes your work in front of others. You might have snapped, defended, or shut down. But now, you filter the feedback. Ask, is this person credible? Is there truth here I can use? If yes, thank them and improve. If no, smile, move on, and protect your energy. That's not weakness, that's emotional mastery in motion. You're not here to fight every opinion. You're here to grow, and growth means learning what to absorb and what to ignore. Now think about daily stressors: traffic, noisy neighbors, tech issues, or running late. These are the moments that usually steal our peace. But instead of spiraling, you create a visualization ritual. See yourself staying grounded even when nothing goes as planned. You become the eye of the storm. Next time you're stuck in traffic, say this aloud: "This is training." That phrase turns frustration into a lesson. You're rewiring your reactions, and stress becomes the gym where your calmness is built. Even in relationships, these tools shine. Let's say a partner or friend is upset and projecting emotion onto you. Instead of getting defensive, you practice strategic silence. Let them speak, nod, and breathe. That silence says, "I'm not here to fight, I'm here to understand." It shifts the whole dynamic. You've taken control without raising your voice. You're leading the emotional tempo, and that earns more trust and respect than any argument ever could. And here's the magic. The more you live this way, the more people start reacting differently to you. They notice your poise. They sense your strength. You won't have to say you've changed, they'll feel it. And this isn't just about feeling better. It's about becoming someone whose very presence shifts the room. But what's even more powerful than applying this in moments is understanding the ancient roots and deeper wisdom behind why it works so well. Broader insights and philosophical roots. Long before neuroscience confirmed it, ancient philosophers already understood emotional mastery. The Stoics, especially Marcus Aurelius, preached the core of what Hill later echoed: you have power over your mind, not outside events. That's the principle behind mental control. You can't always predict life's chaos, but you can master your response. The calmest person in the room always has the most power, because calm is clarity. And clarity? That's your competitive edge in life, business, and relationships. One of the oldest, most underrated tools of power is silence. Not the awkward kind, but the intentional, strategic kind. He'll often use silence not just as a pause, but as a form of presence. When you speak less, people lean in. When you don't react instantly, you control the tempo. This is where emotional mastery meets social dominance. People sense confidence in those who don't need to fill every space with words. Silence is respect, both given and earned. Let's talk discipline, because all this talk about mindset means nothing without repetition. Just like physical muscles grow through resistance, your emotional resilience strengthens through daily practice. Pausing when it's hard. Reframing when it's easier to complain. Visualizing calm before the storm. That's how you build a discipline muscle. And once it's strong, you don't break easily. Your inner world becomes steady regardless of the noise outside. This is where Hill's wisdom shines. He wasn't reinventing the wheel, he was restoring timeless principles in modern language. Think of this as ancient mental training with 21st century application. You don't need a temple or a robe, just awareness and repetition. Every time you choose peace over panic, you're honoring centuries of wisdom. You're not reacting like the crowd, you're rising like a leader. That's not philosophy anymore, that's power in motion. And what makes this even more exciting? These aren't just reflections for deep thinkers or quiet monks on a mountain. They're real, usable tools for real people facing real pressure. You, me, all of us. The only question is, how do we install these principles into daily routines so they become second nature? That's exactly what we'll uncover next, with a step-by-step plan to help you act like nothing bothers you. Action plan to act as if nothing bothers you. Let's cut straight to it. Talk is cheap if you don't implement. So here's your daily weapon, the pause exercise. Carve out just 2 minutes every day to observe your thoughts without judging them. Don't try to fix anything. Just notice what triggers you, what annoys you, and what stories your mind creates. This builds awareness, and awareness is the root of all control. Without it, you're just reacting. With it, you're rewiring your entire emotional system. The second move in your routine? Visualize composure. Before your day begins, or before a big call or meeting, close your eyes and see yourself calm, clear, and collected. Picture yourself hearing bad news, staying grounded. See yourself responding to chaos with grace. This isn't fantasy, it's training. Your brain stores that visual like a rehearsal. The more often you do it, the more natural that calm response becomes in real life. Third, keep a trigger log. Every evening, take 3 minutes to jot down moments where you felt triggered. What happened, how you reacted, and how you wish you'd reacted. Over time, this becomes a goldmine of emotional insight. You'll start noticing patterns. Same people, same situations, same emotional traps. And when you see the pattern, you can break the pattern. This is mindset rewiring in its most powerful form. Fourth step, activate your silent power. Practice holding pauses during conversations, especially when emotions run high. Don't rush to fill the silence. Let it work for you. That pause shows confidence. It says, I'm not reactive. I'm in control. And you'll be amazed at how people start adjusting their tone to match yours. It's subtle influence, and it works like magic in meetings, negotiations, even personal relationships. Lastly, normalize discomfort. Stop trying to avoid pressure. Use it. Every stressful moment is a rep for your inner strength. Whether it's a delay, a rude comment, or an overwhelming to-do list, whisper this phrase to yourself: this is training. Because it is. You're not just reacting to life anymore, you're shaping your response, your energy, your future. And if you follow this plan step by step, your composure will soon become your identity. Why this matters? Let's be honest, this isn't just about staying calm for the sake of inner peace. It's about performance. In moments of pressure, the person who keeps their cool has the upper hand. When others are spiraling, you're thinking clearly. That's how big decisions get made. That's how deals are won, relationships are saved, and careers are elevated. Mental control isn't soft, it's your competitive edge. It turns chaos into clarity, and clarity into confident action. But it's not just about external wins. This is how you avoid burnout, overwhelm, and emotional exhaustion. People break not from doing too much, but from carrying the weight of unmanaged emotions. That's where stress resilience comes in. When you know how to regulate what's happening inside, you stop being at the mercy of what's happening outside. You sleep better. Think better. You stop waking up with anxiety and start facing your day with intention and strength. And let's not forget how this transforms your relationships. Think about the people you truly admire. Are they frantic and reactive, or composed and steady? Emotional mastery earns respect without volume. When you don't overreact, people feel safer around you. They trust your judgment. You become the one they look to in a storm, the voice of reason, the presence that calms the room. That's influence built without shouting, and it's powerful. Most importantly, this builds something money can't buy: identity. You become someone who doesn't just talk about mindset, you embody it. Your composure becomes your brand. And soon you're not pretending to be unbothered, you are. Every challenge you face becomes proof of who you've become. And with that comes the quiet confidence of knowing you can walk into any room, any crisis, any moment, and not just survive but lead. And here's where everything clicks into place. If you can master your inner world, you can shape your outer one. But how do you keep this momentum going? How do you turn this into a way of life, not just a good week? That's where a simple visual framework helps. Let's wrap this up with a clear summary model you can use every day to reset your emotional response system. Summary diagram. Let's simplify everything into a mental framework you can carry with you, like a pocket-sized map for your emotions. Picture this: a trigger hits, an insult, delay, mistake, or surprise. The first move is always the same: pause. That pause buys you time. It separates the stimulus from your response. Without it, emotion takes over. With it, you get to lead the moment with clarity. Next comes the question: will this matter later? If it will, you respond thoughtfully. If not, you let it pass. This simple filter clears out 90% of life's unnecessary drama. You're not dismissing problems, you're refining your focus. It's a stress resilience habit that sharpens decision-making. You don't just feel better. You think smarter, act calmer, and lead stronger. Now add your visualization mentally practice right here. When a similar trigger shows up again, you've already rehearsed staying composed. That's mindset rewiring in action. The trigger comes, and instead of falling into the same reaction loop, your brain pulls up the new blueprint. Calm, confidence, clarity. That's the power of visualization as a tool, not just to imagine success but to become it under pressure. Want to amplify your influence? Add silence to the mix. A well-placed pause during conversation, especially under pressure, reclaims authority. Instead of rushing to defend or explain, you let others speak while you listen with presence. That silence is louder than words. It signals control, depth, and emotional stability. People don't just hear you, they feel you. That's what makes presence unforgettable. And if you want to upgrade this system even more, insert a final tool: reframing. When criticism hits, convert it into data. When stress builds, call it training. When chaos swirls, remind yourself, I control the frame. That's what this summary is really about. Trigger, pause, question, visualize, silence, reframe. Do this daily, and you don't just act as if nothing bothers you, you become the kind of person nothing can shake. Conclusion. Now you know the truth. Faith isn't the problem. The atmosphere is. You've seen how the wrong environment can choke your belief, silence your inner voice, and make you question your worth. But here's the good news: you're not stuck. You can clean the air around your faith. You can rebuild a mindset that protects your peace, honors your vision, and silences every toxic echo that's kept you small. The process starts when you stop tolerating what drains you and start building what sustains you. So let me ask you, what are you still allowing in your atmosphere that doesn't deserve to be there? Who have you been shrinking around just to stay accepted? How many dreams have you buried just to avoid conflict or judgment? And most importantly, how much longer are you willing to sacrifice your growth just to keep the peace with your surroundings? These are hard questions, but they lead to real answers. And real answers lead to real freedom. If this video stirred something inside you, it's not by accident. It's time to act. Start by applying what you've learned here today. Clean your space. Guard your mind. Visualize your strength. Build your silence. And if you want to keep growing, I've got more for you. So hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join this journey toward complete emotional and mental freedom. Because this is just the beginning, and your breakthrough is waiting on the other side of your decision.